Test, test, test. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, going live. Happy Father's Day and welcome to everybody. Um, been a long time. I've been very busy away for quite some bit. Uh, Busy working, dealing with some family, some emotional issues. And I know this month is Men's Mental Health Month, and it's very important to me to understand and to let people know you have a resource, you have access. I don't have a lot of the sites right now, but there's a lot of places that you can reach. I will post and attach some links so that people can get some access. But you need to take, you got to take priority for yourself. So it's very important that you understand that it's okay. Everybody has ups and downs. Uh, everybody, everybody. And a lot of times, there are issues you're afraid to talk about or don't want to open up. And especially as a male, as a father, in my situation, I deal with a lot of stuff. I have a history in my family of depression, of different mental issues that we deal with on a daily. And a lot of them were probably undiagnosed for many years. And so it just is a generational thing, alcoholism, things like that. All of it affects you. So please take care of yourself and make sure you reach out. And I'm always available. Drop a comment, a line, or anything like that for my friends and family. If you're a stranger, just post what you want to do. Nothing crazy. If you're a prince from Africa, I'm not going to always believe that you're going to give me $1 million or anything like that. But please reach out for help. It's always important to talk things out. And I have a great group of friends that have been there for me for my entire life, and family that I can always reach out to. And then I have very low periods. I get depressed and I get a lot of different things, but there is help. And it's okay. It's okay to not be okay. So just acknowledge it, deal with it, and make sure you get the help you need. For Father's Day, I'm home alone. My wife and son are working today, and so we'll be doing stuff. But yesterday, oh my God, I am so sore from yesterday. We decided to go, and I wanted to do something for a while. And my brother was here a few weeks back, and we had a lot of fun. And we went to baseball games, and it brought back. I don't like watching baseball a lot, but I love playing baseball. I know you look at the size of me now, and you're like, what's he play? But it's one of those things that growing up, I was always out in the street. I didn't like to stay home. And I loved baseball was one of the sports that I really loved to play. I wasn't very good at a lot of sports. At basketball, I was called the butcher because I was always so rough in basketball. In baseball, I was decent. A lot of things that I didn't realize, my vision played a big part in how well I did or didn't do in baseball. But I was very active, and so my son and my kind of like adopted nephew, they were over yesterday, and we decided let's go down to the batting cages. And holy frijoles, that was so much fun. We were out there and we were playing, and even my wife got in on it. And I have pictures and videos, but I'm not allowed to post them because my wife and son are very camera shy. So whenever you see pictures of them or anything, it's because I stole them and I put them up there. Uh, but we had a lot of fun. But I am old. I'm old and fat. And I'm telling you, I am sore as get out. But we had so much fun. And my wife, who's a physical therapist assistant, really did a good job on fixing my shoulder yesterday. And it was really good. So, I mean, I know she's good at her job, but holy cow, she good. It was a lot of fun. So we decided we're going to do once a week as part of my exercise regimen. We're going to go out and do something sport related. So my son yesterday, my 23-year-old hyperactive son, went out and drove and we drove on the weekday though. Went out and ran 6 miles came back, and then went to do soccer while I was taking my nap because I worked the night before. Uh, Played soccer with my nephew and my wife, and then came home. We showered. We went out to the batting cages, and he did that. So God bless him. To be young again. To be young again. Speaking of being young, I promise you a toy opening. Um, First off, there's a lot of people that don't always see my channel, and I've not been good about streaming on a regular basis. Part of it was the depression I was going through. A lot of it was the extra work, and I think what kind of brought on the depression and the anxiety level that went up with it um, was picking up extra work. So, not to get too much into detail, but I want to open up, and this whole site is about uh, opening a conversation and sharing things with people. Theo Michael Talks um, is about comic books, entertainment of comic book nature, and the business behind it, and the people that are making this. And my ultimate goal is to go out and get interviews with the people behind the scenes. So if that's something that you're interested in and you want to check it out, please come in. But I intersperse a lot of things because as a brand new YouTuber and I don't want to be considered a um, I forget the term. I don't want to influence. I don't want to be an influencer. I just want to share and open up the conversation and share with people a hobby and a business that I love and I put a lot of money into, and I want to share my thoughts on it. I want to hear what's common with you and what's going on with your world. I was inspired during COVID when things were on lockdown by the YouTubers that were sharing and into this and really spreading a lot of positive and open conversations, and really made me feel like there's more people like me and that we can share in the conversation, be friendly and have fun and enjoy. We can still talk smack about the things, or we can discuss what's wrong, but we do so in a positive manner. And I've said this before, but I want to say it again for people that are watching it now live or those that are going to watch it in the future, hopefully. Um, Secret Galaxy, originally Toy Galaxy, and Dan, the commentator on there, and his producer, was one of the first ones that I saw and was excellent. He was talking about the history of things that I enjoyed, and he is such a colorful commentator that he's funny, he's serious, um, very talented, and he makes you feel a part of the group and gives you a lot of detailed information. Then I found, um, I think it was Robo that I found first. Robo and Veebs from Whoosh, which they later on went on to their own, but that was the first one that was more interactive. And from watching Robo with his very specific breakdowns of the toys and how they were made and what's missing in the parts, he was very detail oriented, but funny and fun. And he allowed and read some of the comments from there, and that made a lot of sense and fun to me. And that was something that I saw. I oops, that I saw, and in interacting with him and with the other members of the teams, um, he started doing a Monday show with Dave Wheeler or Dave Wonder, and that was the most interactive and more of a family or sense of group belonging. And I became a card carrying member of the CLJ. Go to Dave Wonder's site and you can look it up at Dave Wonder YouTube channels and Let's Talk Toys and all of that. So that inspired me. A couple of friends of mine were doing something similar and different things in different aspects, and we started talking. And so Theo Michael Talks developed from my um, inspiration from those gentlemen that I saw and others that I can, like Cincy Nerd. He was really cool, and just watching and interacting with them. So, um, what do I want to get from this? I want to try and do the same thing, only I want to focus more on how to break in, because along with being a nurse, a father, and a an instructor for CPR, I love toys and comic books, and I'm an aspiring artist. I guess you could say semi-professional, because I have done some commissions and stuff like that for people and for money, and doing different things. But it's one of those things where I'm not broken into the mainstream professional market. So I hesitate calling myself a professional. I'm an aspiring semi-pro. How about that? And I enjoy working in behind the scenes and learning. And one of my favorite sites was the Joe Kubert correspondence course fan page that was on Facebook, and we would sit there and share stuff and go through. And even some of the instructors would come in, and so I followed some of them. And then when I saw some of them at the shows, so Anthony Marquez and Fernando Ruiz have been great inspirations from there. And I've even attended some of the courses there. So that was online courses, and that was awesome, and it really helped me a lot. So there's some things I'm going to be putting up on the show, and I don't want to share too much. One, because I would like to get it done before I start talking about it, and two, I don't want somebody stealing my idea. So what I have for you today for Father's Day, I have three big boxes, because yeah, I was in a depression. I was working. I picked up some extra shifts. So I teach CPR as my main business for myself. I work with children first on the evenings. I do so many shifts of 12-hour shifts overnights as a nurse. And then I also help out at Life Care, which I've been a employee with them for 27 years. And one of the things that happened is they had a situation that someone needed to step into a certain role that I used to do. And so I've been helping them for the last few months. Needless to say, I thought I was giving up a couple of days a week, and it's very encompassing and consume time consuming. I need to do more than I need to that I can give them, and it's a lot of work. So I'm really helping out a lot there. That I'm doing my main work, my CPR instructor, and then I'm also working. So I'm in and out. I barely see my family, and that's a lot of stress. That triggered depression, um, and I. It's hard for me to say, but I listen. Anybody who knows me knows I like to talk. And it is something that has helped me my entire life, so that I don't internalize, but I do internalize so much. And by talking, it helps me figure it out. And talking with my friends and my family helps me see it from a different perspective when I talk with them. But one of the things is, I grew up skinny, and I blew up as I got older. I mean, I gained weight. And right now, I'm not comfortable with myself. I don't feel comfortable with my body. And for years, even though I was heavy, I felt comfortable with my weight and my body. And now I don't. I don't like myself. I look in the mirror, I don't like what I see. It's hard. Even saying it to you now, it's difficult. I'm not speaking to anyone face to face that I know of, but you're going to see this. You're going to read this. And I want you to understand that, hey, this happens. As you get older, things change. And that realization that I'm not happy with myself um, actually helps me deal with it a lot better, because when you're not happy with yourself, you take out your aggressions, your feelings of inadequacies on others. And it's usually the ones that are close to you and the ones you love. So then all of a sudden, then you have anxiety, you get irritable. And when you're working extra hours and you're doing different things, and you still got to deal with bills, and you still do pressure, and you still got to have issues and interactions with other people, all that builds up. And so, wow, you can just get overwhelmed and you don't realize it. You don't realize you're drowning because for so long, so many of us have been just treading water. So, people call, "Hey, how you doing?" "Yeah, I'm fine. Nothing wrong. We're good." "Okay." But how do you sit there and say, "Hey, you got 5 hours for counseling?" I've been here 15 minutes, 33 seconds, according to the time clock here. And it's one of those things you don't realize how much you need and how much time. And people aren't ready. We don't know who's ready and who's able to give that time. I work weird shifts. So when you have that and you have your interactions, you get depressed, you get into these periods. And what I found is in my life growing up, how I dealt with it was through comic books, art, toys. And I continue as an adult. I'm way over 40. uh, and at the same time, I enjoy toys. I'm an old man going into a comic shop or into a toy store and looking for certain things. And I've got 3 boxes of toys that I've been ordering, pre-orders from Big Bad Toy Store is one of my main sites that I go to. Uh, and I haven't even opened them up or even taken them out. I haven't even enjoyed the collection that helps keep me in a comfortable mindset. So this Father's Day, over the last few weeks, I've been dealing with this, and I decided I need to focus on myself instead of trying to focus on everybody else. Let me think about how I can focus on myself. And the main thing is, I don't feel comfortable with my body size. I don't feel comfortable with my weight. I don't feel comfortable with me. So I need to take care of me and I need to fix that for myself. And so I've started focusing on taking care of my health, walking because I'm too big to run yet. Um, so walking and doing different exercises. And so yesterday going out with my family and using the batting cages and having fun with that really increased my endorphins and gave me a sense of elation. I was happy. And it's been a long time since I can say that I've just been happy. And that's one of the things that I want to get back to with my collection. It got to the point where I was buying toys left and right and pre-ordering and doing all of this stuff and backing all of the HasLabs and all this stuff. That's a lot of money. And which one of the ones I don't even touch or just have them in boxes or I don't even use. So I started really looking at, along with exercise, I'm going to be focusing on my collection, on what I enjoy and what I'm going to display or use or play with, and to really increase my artwork and my love of the art of toy making. I'm going to do a lot more customizing. So you're going to be seeing some of that on the stream as well. So without further ado, for Father's Day, something that just really brought my heart joy when I saw it, the Masters of the Universe cartoon collection, Prince Adam and Cringer. Holy free holies, what a beautiful toy. Um, Anyone who've collected toys and comic books and watched cartoons during the 80s knows fully well that those cartoons were designed as little little commercials so that we can buy more toys. And let me tell you, we were very, very humble and we were brainwashed, and we didn't care that those toys looked nothing like the cartoon. He-Man did not look like the cartoon He-Man. And so as a older collector, I am very more focused on what I want and what brings back that nostalgia. And I cannot tell you how much joy, just the photo. Look at that. To me, that captures the whole essence of what was on the cartoon between Prince Adam and Cringer. Prince Adam was this fun-loving, relaxed dude who had a real scared, large green tiger as his pet and friend. And you never saw that in the toys, really. And that's why I love this picture. Hey, thank you, Thomas. Thomas Goes Nostalgic, one of the guys I follow. He does wonderful dioramas. And part of it, like I've been saying, I'm on here, when I start doing the artwork portion, I definitely want to do some dioramas. So I'll be reaching out to you, dude. All right. So sorry about that. These figures are designed to take the same kind of aesthetic that we are used to from the 80s toys and give them more of a modern sense of toy design. So the joints are available for them to move, where in the past it was just stock figures or very limited mobility. So with these, you can still get the sense of nostalgia, but where they differ from the original toys is the sculpts. Sorry about that. If you look at the sculpts of these toys, these are works of art. So when they make these sculpts, they really focused on getting the cartoon aesthetic as close to as perfect on these toys. And it is something else. The colors that they use look like the Filmation colors that you would see on the TV screen. And that is just perfect. Now, there have been several Cringers that have come out. And the problem that they face with Cringer is similar to what they face with Prince Adam. How do you make them look different, and then they're the same characters, but they look so much different when they're He-Man and Battle Cat? With Battle Cat, in the transformation in the cartoon, he went from this cowardly lion tiger, with cowardly lion character that looked so much like this. And I am a pet person, dogs and cats, and we had dogs and cats in our house and birds and whatever my father felt like adopting or picking up along when he was out on the street. He would buy or find them. We had them in the house. So this really resonated with me, especially when we had so many cats in the house. How do you take this and then turn it into a Battle Cat? And they always focus more on the action portion or the Battle Cat portion. This is Cringer. Now, this scale is perfect for this cartoon, Filmation cartoon line. I don't know how it's going to scale with some of the other one, like the Masterverse or such. But it's enough of a nostalgia thing for me to just say, this is perfect for me, just at the scale. Now, this face doesn't open, it's static, but it comes off, and it does come with one that has an open mouth so he could look like, oh no, not again, when he's getting ready to transform into Battle Cat. Look at that. Even the scaredy eyes. I love it. So I was waiting for this for a while. While I'm on the subject of pre-orders, one of the things I've done to handle the money portion of what I'm doing in the collection, I have parsed down on the pre-orders. One, sometimes I was just frustrated with pre-ordering stuff and it gives me a due date. And I know it's a subjective due date where I can guesstimate when it's coming, but I have to make a budget. You know, I'm a family man. I got to take care of my bills and I got to take care of my family. And hey, I like to eat. So when I set those guidelines, some of the things I buy, I also take into consideration how much I'm spending. And lately, a lot of the companies are just deluging the market, and you're ordering lines, and you're talking about toys that are $25 to $50 in price. So when you order two or three, that's a big wad of money. And then they say it's going to come out in July or August, and then in May you get 4 or 5 lines hitting your bank account. That's hard. I don't care how much money you make. You see that coming out of your check, you're like, oh, wait a minute. We're going to have to go back to ramen noodles. And while I enjoy the nostalgia of the toys, I don't enjoy the nostalgia of being hungry and eating ramen noodles when I was younger all the time, or macaroni and cheese or corned beef. I still like to have good food. So I'm parsing down a lot of these pre-orders. And while I get frustrated because there are some things that I miss out on or I have to hunt for, I have to admit, begrudgingly, I have to admit that the fact is I love the hunt. The fact that I'm now getting surprised when I go to the store and see something pop up, it brings back not just the nostalgia, but the actual feeling of joy as a collector. So, oh, I didn't know they were going to bring that out. And you still see stuff online and stuff like that. McFarlane is one of the better ones in that they show stuff, and then a few weeks later, or 3 to 4 weeks normally, it's out in stores. So I like that. But I like still looking online. There's some things that I say I don't want to miss out on. I'll pre-order, but the pre-ordering entire lines or anything like that, no, that has to stop until they figure out that when they say a shipping date is coming, then they got to keep to that shipping date, because I can't do business like that. And you're going to lose your market. We don't have that many toy stores and stuff like that anymore. So it's going to be one of those things where if the big companies like Hasbro, Mattel, NECA, and all that stuff, they don't focus on how they handle this pre-ordering issues and shipping, that loses a lot of business, because I know that they were making some money hand over fist with these pre-orders, and I think it's cooling down. But that's one of the ways. And I don't go for whole lines. As a collector, sometimes you want to get everything they put out. It's not possible with some of these lines. So one of the things I'm doing is things that bring me joy and I like, and I will open up and play with them. So this was one of them. This I can't resist this one. Then we have there's like 3 boxes, mind you, but Mafex. When you talk about toy collecting, you have Hasbro, Mattel, the big companies that put out a lot of the toys that we grew up with. But Mafex is not a third party, but a company that imports, and they have a different aesthetic. I don't know if it was because I didn't buy a lot. I wasn't into anime scene, and I wasn't into a lot of these Japanese toys that were coming in. I liked the Hasbro, the Mattel. I was big into the regular toys that you get at the big shops. A lot of these toys, while I can understand and I love and appreciate the posability, to me they didn't have the body aesthetic. Then Mafex and NECA and all of them really came around, and While they're more expensive, I gotta say I do enjoy them. I am a big Superman fan. I enjoy Batman, and I enjoy all of the action figures. My brother is the bigger Batman fan. But when I saw Superman, and I can get him as Christopher Reeve or all these other things, the Mayfex, the Mezco, all of those, I got into those. Um, so I can bear with me. I'm seeing comments on there. I'm learning how to. There's Thomas from a little while ago. Now that this icon that he uses for his image and for his site is based off of the guy from Batman Forever, and that's a toy I want to see made too. So I know that's one of his dream figures. I guess if we all keep wishing for it, it might come into make it happen. So going back to these figures, Mezco, Mayfex, and all that, love them to death. Love them. Neon Gang. Hey, you know what? I've seen crazier figures. So I collect Superman, but then when I started getting into, I think what was the first Mayfex that really got me, because I like the Mezco. Mezco has the Christopher Reeve, and that was awesome. So when I did that, I started looking at these, and it was the Cyborg Superman Mayfex that really caught me, and I said, wow. The only issue I have with them, one, the earlier ones would pop apart. So like an arm would pop off or anything. It was a little bit of a bummer. And especially when you think, how much money I pay. But they were easily popped down as not that they were broken, but that it was based on how they did their maneuverability and their ability to flex and go into these weird comic book type poses. They fixed that. So a lot of the newer ones don't pop out like that, but they use wired cloth capes. And oh my God, you don't know the difference it makes until you can have a Batman that's doing the Neil Adams punch. I'm trying to figure out where the camera is. So this is the Nightfall Batman. I have several Todd McFarlane ones of this and different versions from different companies. But I have to say, the posability and more of a comic feel. Oh, I love it. And to top it off, not only do I have Superman, now I'm going to have to start collecting Batman. You guys, if they make some more Robins in the Mayfex, oh. So we have a different cape for this one. And that's the other thing about these imports. They're designed to be able to take and customize with parts that they have. And you can also use parts from other figures. So that increases what I call, or most people call, the playability. And here we go from the horned tip tape capes to a more classic. Oh man, here we go. I'm Batman. So yes, these figures, the sculpt, the paint job, the details, and what I like about Mayfex and Mezco is they like to throw in a bunch of added pieces that you can use to pose and play with your figure. So along with the cape version, you can also have the uncaped version. And it's funny how, and I think it was Neil, I don't know, but I remember it as Neil Adams was the first one that brought it to the fore, because Neil Adams was the one that did Batman walking around in the desert with Talia uh, and fighting her dad with his cowl on, no shirt. And I thought, wow, as a kid, I'm like, that is so cool. But you can do it without the cape. So if Batman has to go into the water, they even give you the scuba Batman. So you can go swimming with no cape. Awesome. Thomas, I have to disagree with you there. I know it was prominent in the year 2 cover, but Batman doesn't need a gun. He hates guns. But I do agree with you. He that would be a nice custom figure to make. Um, so I love Robin. Dick Grayson and Nightwing Robin is awesome. But I also love, not only do I love Dick Grayson, but I also love, um, uh, oh, what's his name now? Goodness. The third Robin. Holy cow. Just had a brain fart. But the third Robin is one of my favorites. Tim. I love Tim. Um, I never was a big fan of the Todd Robin, but I do enjoy Robin, and that's one figure that I'll always have to get. Tim Drake. Tim Drake is yours? Yeah. I love Tim Drake, but I love Dick Grayson is my Robin. That's the Robin I grew up with. But I did love the whole storyline with Tim. I think what takes away from Tim Drake at first was I'm so used to George Perez drawing, but also Jim Aparo was a great artist. He was the one that was working on Tim Drake, and then they had Norm Brayfogle. And while I love it and I can appreciate it, it wasn't one that was like struck me. And then later on, I got used to his design, and I love the costume design. I do love the Tim Drake costume design. In fact, Todd McFarlane's reissuing or issuing a Tim Drake Robin. It was sold out, but I did see it go back up, and I ordered it on Target the other day. So that's one that I did pre-order. There are certain figures that I will go ahead and hit up. Yes, the Chuck Dixon Robin series when he went off on his own was great, because that was the one that took Tim Drake and made him more of a character of himself, and I loved it from then on. I did. I do have to say, and I loved his stint as leader of the Titans. I'm a big Titans fan too, which I know that Todd McFarlane just released a pre-order for Superboy from the new Titans, so that was pretty cool. So anyway, again, I want to say thank you. I want to say Happy Father's Day to everybody. Now, my father passed away several years back. It was hard. I love my dad. Him and I had a lot of issues, but it's one of the things that we were able to make peace with that much prior to his death. And what was funny was growing up, him and I never really connected. And when we did connect, it was usually over comic books. My dad was a big sports fan, and I do enjoy sports, but I like playing them. I never really like watching or going through them. And he was one that goes into the details. But he grew up with Daredevil when Marvel was coming out. So he was a big Marvel fan. And as he got older, he got out of it. And when he saw me growing up wanting to read, he started buying me comic books and got me. He's the one that got me into this addiction. But he was a big Daredevil fan. And then he started looking at some of the stuff that I was reading when I was growing up. And that's back when Frank Miller was doing Daredevil, and it was the 80s Renaissance, and he was interested in it. But he didn't catch on again until the movies, because he's a big movie fan, but he was really looking at how well they did the Marvel movies, and he was excited about that. And we started talking. So, like, even uh, not too long before he passed away from cancer, that he sent me a picture that he found in New York, that he'd go down and he'd see the people selling on the corner of the Avengers, and we would talk about that show. So that's something. So happy Father's Day, puppy. I love you, and to all the fathers out there, again, happy Father's Day, and everybody that's there, please celebrate them. It's hard as a dad. You try to be strong and try to go through and try to help with everyone, and you try to be quiet about it. You don't really show it and say a lot of stuff. So please recognize them and give them their due. Anyway, Thomas, I'll give you a call later, and thank you for watching. And then those of you that are watching now, thank you, and please don't feel afraid to comment. Those of you that watch this later, when it's when you rewatch it or watch it as you stream or when you wake up, definitely check in, leave a comment. I'll answer back, and we'll see. And hopefully I can get on a regular rotation with some stuff here. So let me know in the comments, and follow me on Theo Michael Talks. And also um, check me out on Facebook and Instagram. I do plan to be posting more artwork, and that's something as part of my life that I want to continue doing. So, all right, have a good one. Take care of each other and be safe. Thomas, I will get together with you soon, man. We gotta hang out. I gotta get back to not working all the time, but living life. So anyway, happy Father's Day. I hope everybody enjoys. Peace out.